Hey guys, welcome to Unpacked. I am not Jack, I am Keys, but I'm gonna be unboxing this case for you. It is the Bitfenix Prodigy M. If you are a small form factor enthusiast, you like mini ITX systems, you definitely know what the Prodigy was. It's super popular, and Wheels, our editor, actually uses one for his editing rig. But Bitfenix has released the second iteration and improved in almost every category, so we're gonna take a look today. So without further ado, let's go for it. Okay guys, we got the case out of the box, and as you can see, it looks pretty much the same as the old Prodigy. Obviously, they changed a lot of stuff, and they've improved in almost every area. So we're going to look at that, but first we're just gonna go over what's the same, what hasn't changed. So the size of the case is the exact same. Dimensions are the same. It's 250 by 404 by 359 millimeters. The exterior still has Bitfenix's soft touch surface treatment, which is kind of this soft, like matte feel. It's actually just on the front and the handles. The side is the regular case metal type thing. And they've got the handles back, obviously. Fiber Flex is their proprietary name for it. And apparently this helps with shock absorption. So if you're gonna go off-roading with the case or anything, do that. Cooling on the top and the rear are the same. So you got room for two 120 millimeter fans on the top here, which are covered by this mesh dust filter that returns from the old version. And right here you got room for a 120 mil or 140 mil fan. So the options for cooling actually on the bottom and the front are different, so we'll get to that later when I open up the case. The I/O panel on the side here, exact same. The USB 3.0, two of them, a headphone and microphone jack, reset power button right there. And on the front, you got a 5¼ inch drive bay. That's the same as the old version as well. So that's the same stuff on the exterior. So we'll open up the case and let's take a look at what's different, which is mostly on the inside. Okay guys, so we took the panels off so we can take a look inside. We got the left side panel with the I/O connectors coming out of there, and the right side panel, which is just a naked panel. And you also have this guy, which I took off. This is your drive tray, so you're gonna put your drives there. It goes about right there, but we'll talk about that after. So the biggest change with this case, guys, it now supports micro ATX boards. That's what the M's for, I guess. Micro ATX, you know, mini ITX is an M too, but anyways, it supports full-featured micro ATX boards now. So on the old one, you had to have horizontal configuration with your tiny little ITX boards. And you can still have ITX boards on it, but now they've flipped it to a vertical configuration like most other ATX cases. There's a CPU cutout there, so you can put it right flat on there. And yeah, so that's the biggest change, but that leads to a few other changes in the case design. So the case supports CPU coolers up to 160 millimeters in height, so that's a good sized cooler. It also supports slim water cooling radiators up to 240 millimeters that would be mounted on the back there. Now, because it's an ATX board, or micro ATX compatibility, they've added a few more PCI Express slots on the back. So they've got 5 now, which means you can now run 2 graphics cards in SLI or Crossfire. What? SLI in a Prodigy? I know, right? They also have this nifty little slider thing for keeping those in place. It's screwless. You just do that and it keeps them in place, which is pretty cool. Be aware that if you do want to run 2 GPUs though, you'll be forfeiting your 5¼ inch drive bay. So they would be in Crossfire like here, or SLI here and here, and then they would come out here though, so you wouldn't really have room to put your disk drive in. But will you be using a disk drive? Probably not, let's be serious. But if you do, just be aware you can't have a disk drive and SLI at the same time. So what they've done with the power supply is they've taken it from the back and pushed it up to the front and flipped it up vertically. So now it fits in a little like this. Now your power supply is sucking in air from the front and pushing it out the bottom. So this means no fans on the front. You can't put front fans on the front, but you've got more room for a bigger power supply if you do need it. Now, this means that you are pushing hot air out the bottom, but they've actually kind of thought about that. So you're asking, where do I put my extra fans? I'll show you. So for fans, guys, there's a bit of a trade-off here. So as you can see on the bottom, there's 120 millimeter fan. There's actually room for, you can either have two 120 millimeter fans, one 200 millimeters or one 230 millimeter fan. So it's like you kind of have two small fans or one big one. You can have two on the top, two 120s, and one on the back. So that's 5 fans maximum. So that's pretty good if you're going for cooling. Now, if you want to forfeit the fans on the bottom, you can also put 2 hard drives there. So they're kind of a bit of a trade-off there, which leads us to storage. Now, in terms of storage, the Bitfenix Prodigy M actually supports less drives than the previous model, but that's because they've cleared up a lot of room in the interior for more powerful components such as, you know, SLI GPUs and M-ATX motherboards. So it used to be so that they had their drives slotted in here in a typical drive bay, but what they've done now is they've moved the drive positions to the walls and the bottom, the panels, I should say. So on your I/O panel here, you got a cage that has 2 slots for SSDs, or sorry, right there, 2.5-inch drives. On the other side, you've got this panel that you can mount either 3 SSDs or 2 hard drives to, so that goes right there. In the bottom, there's a 120 millimeter fan there. As we talked about earlier, you can either have fans there or you can have 2 hard drives. So in which case, if you do have hard drives there, they're being subject to the heat that's coming out of the power supply, which is in the front. It's sucking it, it's pushing it out the bottom there. So what they've done is they put this magnetic heat shield on the bottom. That's just magnetically clips to the bottom of the case, and that protects your hard drives if you mount them on the bottom from the heat from the power supply. So altogether, you can either have 4 hard drives, 2 in the bottom, 2 on this side panel, or 5 SSDs, 3 on the side panel, and another 2 in the other side panel. Now, maximum amount of drives then you could put in this system, you'd have 2 SSDs in this panel, 2 hard drives in the bottom, and 3 SSDs on this guy. So altogether that would be 7 drives max. If you wanted 7 drives, that would be the maximum amount of storage you can have in this. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, guys, is because the power supply is mounted in the front, the connector, however, is still in the back right there. So what they've done is they've included a ATX cable to come to the front, and it actually goes underneath where the power supply is, and it plugs in to where the power supply is right there. So it stays out of the way still, but it's kind of a cool little solution they've done for that. All right, guys, that's the Bitfenix Prodigy M. NCIX is going to have it very soon. Check the description below for more information. And thanks for watching Unpacked. We'll see you next time.